Identity B plot. Confusing as always. I wanted to talk about something that I found kind of odd or interesting, I guess. And basically the main premise is about this girl and her brunette doppelganger. The question I'm going to ask myself is, are there two girls? Or is it one girl and Nettie's just couldn't decide which hair color they wanted to give to her? Because I feel like it doesn't make sense unless there are two girls. First off, this runs on a few assumptions about the plot. So, as was revealed in the About Me event, Orpheus' parents are the manor owners. Why they are blonde and he is brown-haired, I do not know. But that's for another day, perhaps. I'm also assuming that the boy that Burke talks about in his deductions is actually Orpheus. Why do you think that? First off, in the scene where we chase the girl through the corridor, he remembers or recalls someone mentioning Burke and Bane. So far, I don't think the visuals with him particularly have tried to give information that he doesn't actually know. That is to assume that Burke and Bane already worked at the manor when his parents were the manor owners. Now, in Burke's deduction and in Bonbon's deductions, it says that the manor couple had a child. It actually says children here. The second child never gets mentioned. However, this means that even if Orpheus is not the boy that Burke talks about, it still means that he's probably the second child, right? So it still stands that he was there with a girl at some point. And that the boy who kept annoying Burke found an interest in her and they got along. Why I think this is Orpheus is because in the corridor scene, they talk about maybe they went off to play in the woods again. Now, counter arguments. Burke talks about this as if they don't have a child yet. He also calls out his real quote-unquote parents, where I kind of thought that maybe he was adopted, because obviously he has brown hair. But he also came in with, like, the workers, so as I said, I kind of thought that he was the child of the Rangers, not of the main couple. So that is obviously a big kind of obstacle in this theory. Also, why doesn't Orpheus remember her? Again, though, he's not the most reliable narrator right now, so maybe he just forgot and that's gonna be the twist or something. But we do know for a fact that the manor couple had a daughter. Of course, it could be that the boy that Burke talks about is not actually Orpheus, and maybe he came in as a worker after the manor owner already switched. And maybe the daughter that they talked about was of the owner after Orpheus's parents. It's very confusing. I don't really understand it. I also don't understand when the ambush happened, where like two children got taken. I am very unsure about all of that. But yeah, those are the assumptions that I'm going off. I also think that it would make sense if the blonde girl was the manor couple's daughter, because obviously they are blonde and she is blonde. But at the same time, he also met her at a game when he was already an adult. So there's no way they could have had a child. So I think that the brown-haired girl is actually the manor couple's daughter, which I know doesn't make sense because they're blonde and she's brown, but Orpheus is apparently also their child, so you never know. The evidence I have for that is in the trailer video. Her portrait thingy, her hair is slightly more wavy. I know this is stupid, but it's slightly more wavy than the new art we got of the blonde girl. And if you and Orpheus' newest cutscene from the About Me event says that he should check out the room where the little girl and her mother are staying. So we know that there's a mother that we have only seen in this weird ghost form. And there is a woman in the fire that hugs the blonde girl. But we don't know who this brown-haired woman is. There's no one relevant enough to be her. Because, there's the ranger woman, but she has short hair, not long hair. It can't be the manor owner's wife, because she doesn't have brown hair. And so my conclusion sort of is that that's the brown-haired girl, which was the manor couple's daughter, all grown up. And she had a child, which is why they look so alike. And don't ask me how she's blonde. Genetics. If Orpheus is these people's child, then who knows? Also, what I found interesting is that the one time the little girl in the cutscenes is directly linked to, what I assume to be Orpheus's past at the manor, like we should tell Burke and all that. She's in the ghost form. She's on the outlines. So theoretically, if she had brown hair there, we wouldn't see it. And also, later in the other cutscene, when he sees the new group of victims, the woman that's with the girl, who I assume because of Orpheus' narration is her mother, why ever she's a ghost, don't ask me, but she's also in a ghost form. Which is kind of sus to me because these two instances are the same. Is it more likely that they just kept switching back and forth and then they decided on blonde? Yeah. But then it just doesn't make any sense to me because there has to be a girl in a white dress at the time where Burke and Bane worked at the manor before everything went to shit. And then later, like when Orpheus is there, there's also a small girl in a white dress. It can't be the same girl to me, so I think if we already have two people who look insanely alike but have different hair colors, then maybe they are in fact two different people. But to be honest, they look almost identical, except that one is slightly more wavy, and I think that's somehow reason to assume that they are different people. But yeah, that's sort of my reasoning here. I hope that you enjoyed listening to me absolutely lose my mind over this, because I do think it doesn't make any sense. Just the timeline between Burke and Bane. I mean, maybe they were ambushed and killed, and the children got taken away, but Orpheus, like the cutscene seems like they were just murdered silently, and then everything, like, he got taken away by the orphanage, but... Like, either they are just absolutely big brain and I'm not smart enough, or they are doing absolute bullshit, and I'm not sure which I'd prefer, to be honest. Like, I feel like there's a way to make this work. Like, I assumed, obviously, that Orpheus was the boy that Burke was talking about. But again, we also don't know why the manor was attacked, so... There is the option that Orpheus met them after the owner switched. So Burke and Bane started working there after the owner switched, and maybe he started working there, maybe he is the brat, and he started working there after his parents died. Then that would also explain why he's adopted. But from the way he talked, it didn't seem like he was doing that at all. He was just kind of just writing. Who knows? I'm just confused. I feel like there are two sources and they don't add up, and I'm very confused. I just want this to make sense.